All right, what's up, guys? I don't got a lot of time, but I saw the Drake interview and him talking about the Pusha T beef, and this is crazy. Yo, this is really crazy. I want y'all to really listen to this. Yeah, I didn't know how real this really is. Look, I gotta go for more content. Make sure you subscribe, and I'm out.
I have no desire to ever mend anything with that person, and yeah, that situation just went, it just went where it went, and it's just there is no turning back. It's not like those other situations. I'll say at that point, it wasn't even about battle rap or any of that. It was just the information was too shocking. It was, like I said, on his part, it was a genius chess move. He obviously has no when it comes to me, he's not gonna have any morals or respect. So the other elements of the record, whether it be just the shit that he's making up about my mom and my dad and all this dumb shit, or obviously the part that hit me the most, which is wishing that my friend that has an illness dies. That shit to me is just not really wavy. I'm just not really with that. And when I did say, oh, there's rules to this, I didn't mean there's rules that anybody has to follow. But in battle rap, they just headshotted that guy the other day because he was on stage and he pulled out a picture of the guy's dead aunt and started rapping about, that type of shit. And it just is what it is. There's a point where you're gonna wanna stop rapping. I'm sure I could say something about, your lovely lady or, a child or a family member, and you're just gonna wanna not really rap anymore. Yeah, so that's just kind of where I got to. I just had to admit, I'm really, and when I was making the record in response, which was a real record, I know people think it's some myth. It was on this Vinyls beat, and I just found myself saying things that one seemed really out of character, just because I was deeply invested in the situation and getting very angry, and saying things that I don't know if in 2 years I'd want to hear myself say, and yeah, I just realized that nobody cares about this guy, so there's not really much I can say better than Drake has a baby. He won, he won off that bomb. I had at the time I was working with Adidas, and we were toying with the idea of a name being the play off of a name, off of my son's name. I wasn't revealing my son with Adidas, or I wasn't gonna have my son
Right.
But yeah, no, I was just, to be honest with you, I actually did a DNA test for my son, and they came back to us and they said that the DNA test got ruined in transit, and that they couldn't be 100% sure that that was my son or not. So I was in a really weird pending situation where I didn't want to go tell the world that was my son, and it wasn't. If you see my boy, you'll understand. At the time, I was he's just a stunning child, with the brightest blue eyes. And at the time, I was I don't know. But it actually wasn't until a week before the album came out that I got confirmation that was definitely my son. It took me 2 more solid tests with 2 different companies. Yeah. So, yeah, again, I wasn't all the details of his record are all just fabricated, so just to make it more interesting. The story is actually not really that interesting. The biggest part of it is that I have a son. But it wasn't oh, I'm hiding him, or he has a point. He can say, yo, you brought up my lady's name. Oh, all bets are off the table. That's fine. Like I said, we all think differently, right? And even even in the Me and Meek situation, if you listen back to those records, we didn't really go that crazy on each other. Yeah. And we left Nick out of it, and we left kind of family out of it for the most part. Whether there was information that didn't get revealed or not, the point is there's just some unwritten rules in the sport for some people, obviously not for him, and that's fine, and he's just made an entire career off of it, And some people like his music. I personally don't, because I don't believe any of it. And I like to listen to guys that I believe. Also, you just get to peek behind the curtain too, right? It's when I was, 16, thinking that he was the biggest dope dealer in the world, serving bricks to every corner of America. Yeah, sure. I'm sure I was, you know, again, a fan and obviously more so just a fan of like Pharrell and the Neptunes. I always wanted to be signed to Star Trek and stuff like that. That was like the wave. But yeah, I mean, you know, now that I'm grown up and I actually know him and the truth is just kind of like, I don't know, it's not as appealing as it once was. You know, I think that he definitely recruited a guy with a similar dislike for me, no matter what he says in interviews, you know. I know that he can tell whoever, you know, I got love for him and whatever, but it's not love, you know. It's there's something there that bothers him deeply, and yeah, I can't fix it for him. So it just is what it is. I can never, ever, ever, ever turn my back on the things that I've said about him in a positive light, and I still feel all those same things. It's just, it's not on my end. I have no problem with any of these guys. I don't even know these guys like that. This is a sport at the end of the day, and you know from a very early point, I've never shied away from defending myself. And I'm also sometimes eager to engage if I feel that you want to be slick or be offensive behind the scenes. I might choose to address it in music. And you know, that was how I ended myself up in the Pusha situation, which, you know, some of my favorite fighters in the world, you know, take a guy like Nate Diaz. You look at his record, it might not look like the craziest record, but you know, he's still one of my favorite fighters. He's still a dog, and that's just the sport of fighting. You know, somebody's gonna catch you at some point. You know, so that's just kind of how I chalk that situation up. And again, you know, learn from it, channel it into something else. And right now, I'm in a space where, I mean, those guys don't come outside. I don't see those guys anywhere. So like, it's not the same as when I was beefing with Chris or those guys, they hide in God knows where and they don't come outside unless it's like an event with like security and shit like that. So I you know, for me, I'm at a great place in my life where it's just like, you know, my life is about peace. My life is about drinking espressos and wine. I'm trying to make this album. I'm enjoying being a father. I'm enjoying my house. And my mind isn't...
That was decent, right? Go ahead and subscribe if you want to watch more. And I'm out.